because it could go a million different ways. All right, there's one more East team. Um, oh, Detroit. Yes, Detroit. Detroit's very good. Um, I think it's the best team that we're talking about from the East here. Um, for sure. Yeah. Well, where do we want to start with the Detroit Pistons?
Okay. I think it's a very interesting situation, right? They've showed up. They played really well in the playoffs against the Knicks. Um, and they had a crazy season after just winning 14 games to becoming the sixth seed, winning 44 games, led by Cade Cunningham. And they didn't even have one of their star point guard, one of their second best scorers in Jaden Ivey. He was out for the season, and now he's going to come back. I think that's going to give them a huge boost to their offense. I think their center position is really good right now with Jalen Duran, Isaiah Stewart, and Paul Reed. Even though I don't really know if Paul Reed's coming back. I don't know how long they signed him for. Um, but the way I kind of look at this is if this team is going to get better, like what if in the playoffs they had Tobias Harris like actually doing what he should have been doing and getting like 20 points, 22 points, um, in two or three of those games. And if Tim Hardaway Jr. didn't shoot tour dates for half the series, I think if they can get a consistent like a consistent shooter in free agency or even in via the draft, that'd be huge. Um, Guys like Bruce Brown Jr. Uh, I don't. What's their situation money wise, Pat? Are they looking good for cap space?
They're looking good. Their highest paid player next year will be Cade.
Yeah,
Cade is going to get a boost because he's going to make All NBA this season, so he will get the full 30% max that he currently was getting a 25% max. So that'll be an increase of like, probably $3 to $4 million. Tobias Harris is their next highest paid guy. Then it's like relatively cheap with like, Ivy, Isaiah Stewart,
yeah,
um, making 10 to 15 million, and then Asar Thompson, Ron Holland,
yeah,
making rookie contracts.
yeah.
Uh,
So
Jalen Duran,
sorry.
Jalen Duran's extension eligible. I would imagine they get a deal done. He looked pretty solid in the playoffs after having a pretty poor first 2 years in the league, I would say. Um, other than that, their roster is relatively cheap. They should have some resemblance of cap space. The tough thing for them, though, is they won't be able to retain Malik Beasley without having cap space, because they signed him to a 1 year deal. So um, it's
Okay.
gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for them
Yeah.
to bring back Malik Beasley. They could use their mid level exception to bring him back.
So I think if they lose Malik Beasley,
But like,
no, I was just gonna say if they lose Malik Beasley, I think Karis LeVert uh, would be a very nice piece for this Pistons teams, especially seeing what he did for the Hawks after he came in after that trade. Um, like instant impact, really good basketball on both sides of the floor. I think he's more consistent. He would be more consistent than Tobias Harris, um, especially in a high pressure situation, or not a high pressure situation, but in like a playoff series. I think he would show up. Even if that's not offensively, he would still do really good defensively. I think that'd be an interesting piece. I love Malik Beasley, and obviously he was huge for them, but like he was a streaky shooter during those playoffs as well. Not as much as Tim Hardaway Jr., but I think retaining Malik Beasley and maybe adding another piece in free agency would be ideal for this team because I think when Jaden Ivey comes back, they're going to be really good, and that might even replace what Malik Beasley gave them, and especially Tim Hardaway Jr. I think that's not the worst thing that they might end up losing him in free agency as well.
yeah, they can go over the cap to bring back Tim Hardaway Jr. Um, I think a rough thing for them too. Like they don't get their first round pick this season, which it's okay. They made the playoffs, and I think they're fine with that because it gets rid of all their pip pick obligations going forward. They are now not tied up in any other trade. So that just removes a way to add a cheap potentially impact player for them. Um, I think a key thing for them will be replacing just some of the offense that Beasley brought. I think the Karis LeVert thing was a good call for you. Like I think you know Karis LeVert might honestly be better than Malik Beasley. Um, and then like they have Simon Fontecchio on the roster who's making $8 million, who can he wasn't very good for Detroit this season, but like he looked pretty promising. Um,
Yeah, I was watching that Knicks series, and I was like, damn, I've not heard Fintecchio in so long. And we talked about him beginning the season. He did a great year last year, so that was surprising. Like they still have guys that haven't even like been playing for real, and that they still like key pieces that we thought were going to be key pieces this year that did not end up playing. So the future's still bright.
yeah, and I like them to potentially make a big move at some point later down the line. It's just the unfortunate thing about the rebuild is they never even had interesting players to like ship out to other teams for assets. Like they had Jeremy Grant, but I think they've already exhausted the extra assets they got from Jeremy Grant. So they just never had good players for like 3 to 4 years to even get extra draft capital for. And like they, gave up an extra pick to Jalen Duran at one point. It didn't end up hurting them that bad because he's, developed to being an NBA starter now, I would say. But it's weird. They will, I believe, have cap space, but not a ton of cap space. Um, so I mean, I can just see if there's a full number. Um, yeah, they'll have $127 million already tied up next season, so they will have roughly $20 million of cap space plus middle level exception plus a room exception. They can re-sign Tim Hardaway Jr. or go over the cap to re-sign Tim Hardaway Jr. Um, yeah, I think they can do a lot of interesting stuff if they wanted to. They have most of their draft capital still. They have a big $26 million for Tobias Harris. So, a superstar move is not off the table for them. They could do Tobias Harris and absorb the rest of a salary into their cap space if they wanted to do that. Um, they even gave up Jaden Ivey because, we talk about him. He was a very important player for them, but they were also like 24-7, I think, without Jaden Ivey this season. So I don't think it was that bad. It might have been like 24-14, but they were better without Ivey this season. And like Asar Thompson, huge player for them. I think him and Cade should be the only untouchable players on the Detroit Pistons because Jalen Duran's good, right? But you have Isaiah Stewart already signed to an extension that I think Duran will get more money than if he were to sign his own extension. So if Duran is the piece to get a deal done, I think he get it done. Um, I think this could be a good Pistons team next season for years to come. Um, what type of a player do you think is best next to Cade Cunningham?
Uh, I don't know. I really like this character. I've been since I've seen the Carousel of everything. I'm liking the Carousel of everything a little bit. Um, but someone
What
that
star player?
star player. Oh, my fault. Um, A Cunningham. Bro, I'm blanking on all the players. Hold on. Devin Booker. Devin Booker. Yeah, Devin Booker.
That's the one that comes up. I like it and I don't like it. The shooting ability is the key, I think, with Booker, and then like he can,
So it's
yeah, it's like um, it kind of has the same Phoenix problem where it's like they kind of want to do the same thing also. So like I kind of see that issue. Like I think Giannis is like the dream player next to Cade Cunningham
yeah,
because you can take the ball out of relieve pressure from Cade with Giannis creating offense, and then like when Giannis um is off the ball with Cade having the ball, like Cade's passing ability can take advantage of um Giannis's roll gravity and his size around the rim, which I don't think Damian Lillard's passing ability has quite been good enough to take advantage of the past couple of years. And I think Cade is a significantly better passer, even if he has a couple giveaways here or there that I wish he would limit out of his game. Um, but I think Giannis is the big one. If Pascal Siakam was available, I think Pascal Siakam would be kind of a great option. Um, but obviously he's not available. Other than that, I don't know if I would like another guard next to him. Uh, but like Devin Booker is one of the better options I would say as a guard player because that would be significant size in your backcourt. Both are good shooters. Um, I'm sure the Suns would be interested in Ivy if you wanted to give them Ivy. Uh, I don't see either as terrible options. Even though I think the Booker fit is a good fit. The Giannis fit is like a perfect fit in my opinion. You're obviously more likely to get Devin Booker than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Um, I think it should be a good Pistons team. Please, Trey Jelangin. I butchered it. Trey. I'm not even gonna. I'm not going over 2. I'm not doing it.
what just
Um,
happened? Just happened there.
I'm not going over 2 on trying to pronounce the Pistons general manager's name. Uh, he's
Oh,
done a
oh yeah.
he's done a pretty good job since he's taken over. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he's gonna do a good job going forward.